Have you ever heard of the Pope who declared that beavers were fish? Yes, you heard that right. Not mammals, not land animals, but fish. And this bizarre decree wasn't just some odd slip of logic, it was a ruling that changed what millions of Catholics were allowed to eat on Fridays. So how on earth did the church decide that a furry, dam-building rodent belonged in the same category as salmon and cod? The answer is stranger than you can imagine. To understand this, we have to travel back to the Middle Ages. In Catholic tradition, Fridays were sacred, a day of penance when believers were forbidden from eating the flesh of warm-blooded animals. No beef, no pork, no chicken. But fish? That was allowed. Why? Because fish were seen as symbols of sacrifice, purity, and Christ himself. So across Europe, Friday became a day of fish feasts. But here's the problem. What about animals that didn't fit neatly into the rules? Enter the beaver. Living in rivers, spending most of its time in water, and covered in sleek fur that seemed almost aquatic, the beaver confused both hunters and theologians. In 17th century Canada, French missionaries faced a dilemma. Locals were eating beaver during Lent. Was it a sin, or could it be justified? The church needed an answer. And so, Pope Pius, with guidance from theologians, issued a decree. The beaver would officially be classified as fish. Yes, despite being a mammal, despite giving birth to live young, despite nursing its kids with milk, the church declared it swam enough to count as seafood.
The logic. The rules weren't about biology, they were about spirituality and tradition. If an animal lived in water, if it was caught like fish, and if it helped believers keep the fast without breaking their resolve, then it could be fish. This wasn't the only time either. In South America, capybaras, the world's largest rodents, were given the same classification. Even muskrats and puffins were labeled fish for the sake of fasting. So on Fridays, while much of Europe ate herring or cod, Canadian Catholics could sit down to a meal of beaver tail guilt-free. And that's how the church turned a mammal into a fish with one decree that blended faith, food, and survival. But here's the bigger question. If beavers could become fish, what other creatures were reclassified to satisfy tradition? The answers will shock you. Subscribe to Secrets of History, because the past is far stranger than you think.